Okay, hey everyone. Today we are doing a tier list. So this is a tier list of all of the worlds across the Rareware 3D platformers. This originally was going to be a tier list of Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie worlds, but then I found one that had DK64 worlds mixed in, and I decided to add that one as well, just so I can have more worlds to discuss. Um, what I'll say is it's fun to compare how these worlds hold up against each other, but in reality, it's like each game is has a fundamental change in design philosophy. Like even between Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, they are not as similar as you might think in like level design ideas. Um, and Donkey Kong 64 is even more wildly different because that one's designed around you having the five different monkeys to do everything with. Um, but I'm going to be discussing all of them. I actually am going into this video with a plan for once. I actually have not a script, but I have everything already ranked, so I'm not coming up with this on the spot, and I actually had time to sit down and think about it. Um, I am going to be going in ranking order, so I'm not going to do what some people do in the tier list and go, okay, Mumbo's Mountain, Treasure Trove Cove, Clanker's Cavern, Bubble Glue Swamp. I'm going to go in the order that I have them written down. So bringing up our F tier, the tier list actually didn't have an F tier when I brought it up, because apparently there's no F tier levels in the 3D platformers, but I would disagree. The lowest level of all of these 3D platformer levels is one that not even is like a horrible level, but it's like the land of missed opportunity. This is a level that I believe has one of the coolest concepts for a 3D platformer level and just blows it because the level design is not fun to play. This is one that if you had asked me when I was a kid, it probably would have been in my top 5, at least top 10 levels, but now it is my least favorite, and that is Hailfire Peaks from Banjo Tooie. Hailfire Peaks is such a cool idea where you have the fire side and the icy side, but they completely blow it. Like, ideally, what I think you would have is you have like 2 or 3 jiggies on each side that are specific to that side. Then you have like 3 or 4 jiggies that have you having to do something to traverse between both sides and do something of that nature. And it feels like the interaction between sides is so little, and it feels like even like the side specific challenges, especially on the fire side, as I'll get into, are really like egregious. Something like the fire side is way worse than the icy side. The icy side tries a little bit with the alien mission, but the fire side, it's like there is a small platforming challenge inside of a volcano, which is like, okay, this is thematic, but this could literally be like anywhere. And then they make you play kickball again. Like, I don't want to play kickball again. I played that in the first world of the game, and that was plenty of kickball for me. I don't want to play kickball a second time. Like, yeah, now the goal is to get the lowest score instead of the highest score, so there's a little bit of a twist. But that is like, it has nothing to do with it being the fiery side. I think the best Jiggy in this world is probably the Saberman Jiggy, where you have to like thaw him out and help him out on the icy side and then bring him back to his tent on the fiery side. I think that's just the right amount of interaction between both sides, because there is a Jiggy that I hate. It's probably my least favorite Jiggy in the entire game, in the entire series for that matter, where you have to do some BS with the trains, because there's a train station on both the fire side and the icy side, and I'm kind of talking out my butt about this Jiggy because I've only ever used a glitch to get it without doing it the intended way, but I'm pretty sure what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to bring the train into the fiery side, cool it off with Gobi the camel, and then send it over to the icy side so that you can get the Jiggy on the icy side, because you specifically need to get into the train station to do it. But in order to even open the train station on the icy side, you have to become the Snowball, which is the transformation for the world, and you have to navigate through the lava side trying not to melt yourself before you get over to the train switch, because the train switch is too large for you to smash as regular size Banjo and Kazooie. Which, it is not a fun mission. Like, it's just annoying. And it feels like, again, just a huge land of missed opportunity. The boss as well. The boss is a cool idea, but it's so easy that it's like, this is the second to last world of the game. Why am I jumping over something's tail 3 times and then shooting it a couple times with the egg that it's weak to? The whole idea is you fight a dragon on the fire side. You fight a fire dragon on the fire side and an ice dragon on the ice side. You use fire eggs on the ice one, ice eggs on the fire one. But it's the same fight both times. It's just whatever one you fight second has double the health. And it's like, it's really easy. Its attacks are... actually, you jump over its tongue. It's not its tail, forgive me. But it's an extremely easy boss fight, especially compared to what came before it. It might be the easiest boss fight in the game. Well, no, it's up there, but it's not the easiest boss fight in the game. But I feel like they could have done more with that idea. Like, it's a good idea to have the different dragons and you fight them both, but they could have made the boss fights a little bit more fun. But yeah, Hailfire Peaks, I think, is worst, not just because it's not a fun level to play, but it's because it could have been a really cool level. They just totally, like, blew it on this one. Coming in at second to last is one that for a while I wanted to be the hot take person and be like, I really love this level. This is, like, one of the coolest designed levels in the game, and I really love this one. And then I actually play it, and I hate it. This is another Banjo Tooie level, and it has very few redeeming qualities, in my opinion. Grunty Industries goes in F tier with Hailfire Peaks. This is one that I want to love, but it's such a pain to navigate. I always forget where I'm going. This is a level that I feel is, like, impossible to play without a guide. Like, I suppose if I played Banjo Tooie as much as I played Banjo Kazooie, I would eventually, like, just know where I'm going inherently. But I just always get turned around in this level because everything's kind of bland and looks the same. I forget how I need to get to certain parts of the level. I forget what the intended way to do that is. And a lot of the jiggies just aren't plain fun at all in this one. It's a cool idea because it's a very vertical oriented level, and that's what I think is a redeeming quality about it, is the fact that it's a vertical oriented level, which is interesting, but it just feels like it's not executed horribly well, and a lot of the jiggies just end up being annoying to get. Another redeeming quality of it is the boss is, like, the best boss in the game. Like, it is such a fun boss fight, and I really like fighting Weldar. But that's really all there is to say about Grunty Industries. I don't play that level very often in reality. Like, I've been doing mostly, like, randomizers of Banjo Tooie lately, so, like, it's like if I see Grunty Industries, I'm, like, out. I don't want to play that level. Next, we're finally on to a different game. So I finally get to dog on a different game. And this is the last F-tier level. This is the last level that I think is, like, legitimately bad and has, like, horrible legitimate flaws with it. And that is Gloomy Galleon from DK64. I actually really like the idea behind Gloomy Galleon. Like, it being, like, a pirate-themed level. And there's, like, a lot of really cool, like, set piece areas, like the 5-door ship where you go in the ship after you play each Kong's instrument. There's the treasure room, which I think is a really cool looking area. It's just the fact that it's an underwater level in a game where the underwater swimming is not the greatest. Every 3D platformer always tries to do, like, the underwater level and always tries to, like, make it cool and interesting, but it almost always falls flat on its face because it's so slow moving. I don't hate Gloomy Galleon as much as I thought I would, though. Like, when I was adding the DK64 levels into the tier list, I was like, I think Gloomy Galleon might end up being worse. But then I thought about it, and it's like, I honestly would rather play Gloomy Galleon than these two levels, so there we are. But that rounds out the F tier, the only levels that I think are like legitimately bad. Moving into D tier is a level that, if you had asked me about a year ago, I would have put in F tier, but now that I've been playing the game more and I'm more familiar with it, I don't hate it. This is a level that's really easy to get lost in, and that's the biggest problem with it for me, but now that I kind of know where I'm going, it's not nearly as bad as before, and that is Crystal Caves. I actually really like how this level kind of has... It kind of does the 5 Kong thing pretty well, where it's like you have the cabins area, where each Kong has a cabin. Some Kongs have 2 cabins that you play your instrument in front of, and then you have a little challenge with that Kong. Usually it's something that uses their moveset specifically as well. And then on the other side of the level, there is there's an igloo, where you do the same thing. You play your instrument in front of the igloo, and, like, depending on the door, and then it gives you a challenge for that Kong. I think it does that really well. It's just, again, even when I know the level, it's really easy to get lost and forget, specifically how to get to the cabins area. I always forget that I have to swim past, like, through the waterfall to get there. And it also has some kind of annoying puzzles in it, like, specifically the second beetle race is here, which I think is worse than the first one. It's not that bad, but it's worse than it's definitely 100% worse than the first one. And this one doesn't do its warps very well. I kind of forget about that, but Crystal Caves only really has like 2 useful warps. The other warps are like gimmick warps that are like specifically like, there's like a mini monkey area that you can only get into with Tiny, but it has a Donkey Kong balloon in it for some reason. But oh, you hit the 3 warp in there, and that's how you get there, to get the one Donkey Kong balloon, and that's the only purpose behind the 3 warp. And it's like, that's basically a wasted warp. And every warp except the 1 and the 2 are like that, which makes this level kind of annoying to navigate as well. But I don't think it's as bad as I used to feel like. Next, we're going to be moving out of DK64. This is a level that is kind of the poster child for what is wrong with Banjo Tooie. Banjo Tooie, as much as I want to love it, and I do love it, I really like Banjo Tooie, not every sequel has to be bigger and better. Like, sometimes just more of the same, but with different levels, different concepts would be great. They tried to go huge with some of these levels, but it left a lot of open space, is what it did. And they made a lot of the challenges multi-step and multi-level even at times. And I don't know, some of the challenges are really annoying, but this is Pterodactyl Land. Pterodactyl Land goes here. Pterodactyl Land is a huge level that can be kind of annoying to navigate because you're walking all over the place. And, to me, I do like a few of the jiggies here, but it's just like, it's such a slow level. It's such a slow-going level. And there are a couple, like, egregious things with it. For one, I kind of forgot to mention down at Hailfire Peaks, but one of the icy side jiggies is literally not even really a Hailfire Peaks jiggy. It just counts as one in name alone. To get one of the jiggies in Hailfire Peaks, you have to go through the Stomping Plains in Pterodactyl Land as only Banjo. And that gives you a Hailfire Peaks jiggy, and that basically just makes it so there's only 9 jiggies in Hailfire Peaks. But they also do the same thing in Pterodactyl Land, where there is a pool of water that you need to fill, and the only way to do that is from draining a pool up in Cloud Cuckoo Land, which gives you the Jiggy for Pterodactyl Land, which, again, makes it so Pterodactyl Land has one less Jiggy. There are also some really strange, like, easy challenges, because it feels like there are a couple that are, like, way too easy, and then a couple that are way too, like, take way too long. Like, for one, the Oogle Boogles, there's so many steps to that issue. You have to, like, light their fires to heat them up, and you have to bring them burgers and fries from Witchy World in order to please them and get the Jiggy from them. There's also the whole missing Triceratops family that you have to gather around, and most of the time they also have an issue as well. There's one that needs to be enlarged, one needs to, like, grow bigger, one is sick and needs to be healed, and I can't remember what the problem is with the other one, but you need to bring them all back with the train, which the train is a separate issue. I think the train is the most stupid thing in that game. And then there's just a Jiggy, like, the area where you fight the boss. You fight the boss, and this is another really easy boss. It's a fine boss, but after you beat the boss, you get a Jiggy, and then you ground pound the boss's nest, and there's another Jiggy just for free in the nest. And that's literally all you have to do is ground pound. There are a couple highlight Jiggies. I think the hatching Jiggy is the best one in the level by far. The one where you have to go around and hatch all the eggs. Like, yeah, it's a long one, but it's one that's kept contained within the level, and I think it's done really well. I do think it kind of overlaps with the, what's the green guys? I can't remember, because the Unga Bungas are the other. I'm trying to think of the Rocknut Tribe. The Rocknut Tribe is the one that you have to blow up with clockwork eggs. And I get that they were trying to show off the new tool that you got. You got the clockwork eggs now, so you got to have a Jiggy for it. But it feels like they kind of captured the go around the entire level and find the objectives with the hatching mission. They didn't really need to do another one with the Rocknut Tribe, but that one I don't think is too bad. And I actually really like the one where you get eaten by a dinosaur and you have to kill all his stomach ulcers. I think that one is actually a pretty solid one. I know a lot of people complain about the amount of mini-games in Banjo Tooie, but I actually like most of the mini-games. But all in all, it's just a huge level with a lot of kind of really annoyingly long multi-step puzzles that you have to do. Oh, and I didn't even mention the transformation. The transformation, you get to be a baby T-Rex at first, which, honestly, the baby T-Rex barely does anything. And then you can use Mumbo to enlarge Wumba's wigwam, which allows you to turn into the daddy T-Rex, the adult T-Rex. Why did they do that? Like, there's no point in the baby T-Rex gives you one Jiggy, which can be skipped if you know what you're doing. But point being, the baby T-Rex gives you one Jiggy. You do that one Jiggy, and then you have to go back and transform it into the adult version. It's like, I just want to be the big T-Rex. Like, just make it one transformation. You don't have to make it so convoluted. It's kind of annoying. But that's all for Pterodactyl Land. Next, my phone locked. I have to remember what is next. Next is finally a Banjo Kazooie level, the weakest one in my opinion. And this used to be my favorite level in the series, but when I grew up, I kind of realized that it's not bad. It's just, like, extremely bland, and that is Gobi's Valley. I was playing this level earlier. I actually just finished replaying Banjo Kazooie. I played it all day yesterday and beat the entire game in one sitting. Well, 2 sittings, actually. But Gobi's Valley, for one, is a pain to look at because it's just a lot of yellow. Like, you can see it in that picture. The level is extremely yellow, so it's kind of, like, nasty to look at. But it's pretty much just, like, going pyramid to pyramid, doing these different tasks in each pyramid. And as far as, like, a Banjo Kazooie level goes, it just feels really bland and not really thematic whatsoever. I do really like the King Sandy Butt's tomb section, even if it traumatized me as a kid, because if you run out of, you have to go through this maze, and if you run out of time, a spiked ceiling falls on you, and that traumatized me as a kid. I like had a panic attack when the music started playing. But there's a matching game where you have to ground pound like different things and match icons together. There's this weird magic carpet sphinx where you shoot eggs into other sphinxes' mouths, and it makes the magic carpets rise so that you can get up to the other to the jiggy on the inside. You have to track Gobi down all over the level. It's not a terrible level. It's just, again, it's really bland, and especially just how it looks. Like, I think the look is the worst part about it, is just that it's so yellow. But that wraps up D tier with those 3 worlds. Next, we move into C tier, and this is the one that actually went up in my recent playthrough. I had this list, and then now I had just played Banjo Kazooie again, and this was originally down in the bottom 3 levels, but it has since gone up, and that's Clanker's Cavern. Clanker's Cavern is another level that is really bland to look at. It's just, it looks like you're walking around in like a sewage plant the whole time, and it's the water level, so there's a lot of swimming. But half the level is extremely good. Like, if they had done way less with the outside and had done more with the inside of Clanker, it would have been, like, top tier level. Because the inside of Clanker is really well done. So, a lot of the outside of the level is just swimming through tunnels, doing different things. You have to fight some mutant crabs. But then the good part of the level, there's a giant trash compactor robot whale that you literally get to, like, go inside at different entry points. You get to go in the blowhole. You get to shoot his teeth in and go in his mouth. You can swim in his gills, but there's not really a point in swimming in those passageways. I feel like there's another entryway that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones I remember. And there's a bunch of different things you do inside of Clanker, which those are the challenges that are the best part of Clanker's Cavern. And that's why I kind of brought it up to C tier, because most of the level actually is pretty fun to play. Next is a level that I love the concept of, but I hate playing. Click Clock Wood. And I truly feel like this is a matter of preference rather than anything else. It just doesn't, the scope of the level doesn't work in Banjo Kazooie to me. It would be an outstanding Banjo Tooie level, just with like the change of scenery and having note nests, and you don't lose all your notes if you die. Like, if this was a Banjo Tooie level, it would be like top tier. But because it's a level in Banjo Kazooie and it's recontextualized, it sits at C for me. But that doesn't mean I don't love the idea behind it. I just kind of dread getting to it because I know it's like quadruple the level that any other level is, and it's going to take me a bunch of time to beat it. The whole idea of Click Clock Wood is you go through 4 different seasons of the same level. You do stuff in spring, which... Spring, there's not too much, but you do stuff in spring, which affects the summer, which affects the fall, which affects the winter. And if you do, like, the whole sequence of events, specifically it's more the eagle, everything else, there's not really much interaction between seasons that you can, like, change. But, I really love Click Clock Wood. Like, I love the level, but I don't love playing it necessarily. Like, me talking about it more is almost convincing me to, like, move it up to, like, A. But in practice, it just isn't that fun to play, in my opinion. Then coming in above it, which is going to be a hot take, Rusty Bucket Bay. Rusty Bucket Bay does pretty much the same thing as Clanker's Cavern, but it does it better, where there's a lot of stuff around the outside of the level, like a lot of smaller tasks that you can do, like getting Jinjos, going in a couple buildings for empty honeycombs. Not a lot of jiggies on the outside of the level, but the bulk of the level takes place on the central area, which is the big boat that you see in the picture. And I really like this. I really enjoy playing this level every time I do. Going in the different windows, seeing the different rooms of the ship. The engine room is infamous because it is the most dangerous area in the game, and you can just die. Like, if you fall off, you die and you lose all your notes. But I really like the challenge. I really like the stakes every time I go to the engine room, especially now that I kind of have the timing down for like getting past the propellers, but it's always nerve-wracking. There's a pretty bad boss in this level. Boss Boombox kind of sucks because it's like you can either beat him the way that's like intended and shoot a bunch of eggs at him, I assume is what they intend for you to do, but it takes like 1,000,000 eggs to kill him. Or you can cheese him by golden feathering, and it just kills all his duplicates in one hit. But it's like there's no real winning with that boss fight. It's just kind of a bland boss fight, which kind of goes for almost every boss fight in Banjo Kazooie. But that's a digression. Most of this level I really enjoy. I enjoy the challenge. The only reason it's not higher, again, is just because there are levels that are more fun to play than it in reality. Like, this is where we're getting to the territory where it really is personal preference. I truly believe everything D and below fully belongs there, and Clanker's Cavern belongs where it is as well. But everything above this point is like, it's a matter of how much I enjoy playing it when I get to that point of the playthrough. This next one is going to round out the C tier, and it is Cloud Cuckoo Land. Cloud Cuckoo Land feels like a bunch of random ideas that they throw at the wall and hope they stick. It feels so weird for a last level, but I think it really works. Had to take some drinks of my Mellow Yellow. But there's sort of this big central cavern, which again you can see in the picture there. And then there's a bunch of floating islands of random things around it. Like there's a cheese wedge that you have to be Banjo to get inside and use all of his different backpack abilities. There's a trash can, which you can see in the background there. There's a giant trash can that you have to go in with Kazooie and kill a bunch of germs on the inside of it. There's the infamous Canary Mary race, which will break your wrist by making you mash the button as fast as you possibly can for a horribly long amount of time. I've won that race once in my life, and I don't think I'm ever going to again. But, point being, this is the most random world, which doesn't really have much of a consistent theme. But I think its lack of a theme is what makes it so unique. And it's here where it actually does a lot of interaction with other levels. Like you have to drop an ice cube on some water in Hailfire Peaks to make it the right temperature to then put in Jolly Roger Lagoon. I think that's how that works. Yeah, it is. You also, again, drain the pool to drop water into Dippy's Pond for Pterodactyl Land. There's a lot of interaction with the other levels there because you are above everything else, and you can kind of see the entire Isle of Hags below you if you fall and die, which you probably will plenty of times. And also the boss of this level is genius. There's a fake Mumbo, and you walk in not expecting anything, and then, boom, you get killed by Mumbo. Just a really, really solid level. Okay, B tier is where things start to heat up a little bit. B tier is the bigger tier, but it starts off with a DK64 level, if I can find it, Fungi Forest, which, funnily enough, was supposed to be a Banjo Kazooie level. I really like the idea of the day-night cycle here, but kind of similar to Cloud Cuckoo Land, I think it plays kind of bad in practice. There's a bunch of gates around the level where you can only go to certain areas when it's day or nighttime, and there's a lot of different things that happen based on when it's day or nighttime. I don't even remember what it needs, like which needs to be what, because I've been playing the randomizer, which just leaves it all open. But in order to switch it from day to night, you have to climb up the cuckoo clock, which you can see in that picture there, and shoot the appropriate switch to switch it from day to night or night to day. And it's a cool idea, but the fact that you like will go somewhere and be like, oh crap, I need it to be daytime, and then you warp back to switch the clock, and then you have to go back there, do the objective, and then you're like, oh crap, now the next thing I do, I need it to be nighttime, and then you go back and switch it again. You get the picture. It ends up being more annoying than anything else, in my opinion. But a lot of the level challenges in this one are really solid and unique. Like you have to be giant Chunky Kong to smash a bunch of tomatoes to save the apple with the worm in it. There's a minecart level in this one. With every Kong, it seems like, well, they designed it so that pretty much every level there's these big like areas where every Kong has something to do. There's this giant mushroom that you climb up that has objectives for pretty much every Kong along the way. There's a boss where you fight a giant spider as Tiny Kong as well. There's a lot of kind of standout gold bananas in this level. And it's pretty enjoyable to play as well. There is a pretty annoying like race against the rabbit. I was having a really annoyingly difficult time with it in a randomizer the other day, but again, it's unique. Moving on from here, back to Banjo Tooie, Jolly Roger Lagoon. Now, this is the water level. It is the highest ranked water level in any of the 3D platformers, and I think this might be the best, like one of, if not the best, 3D platformer water levels ever. It takes away the fact that a lot of games have limited air, with Mumbo oxygenating the water, however that works. And it has the best transformation in the game, because the transformation, like, I kind of don't like that in Banjo Tooie they forced a transformation in every level, because sometimes you do literally one thing with that transformation and it's it. But in Jolly Roger Lagoon, it's fully, like, advantageous for you to be the transformation for as long as possible, because the transformation is a submarine. You get unlimited air with the submarine. You get unlimited air anyways, but you can there's octopi that hit you with your tentacles that you have to freeze with ice eggs in order to get through certain chambers. You can use your sonar on the submarine to freeze them easily without even aiming. You also just have unlimited ammo shooting missiles with the submarine, so you're just completely at an advantage with it, especially if you go to the boss. Like, I rarely ever fight the boss as Banjo and Kazooie well, you're still Banjo and Kazooie, but you know what I mean. I rarely ever fight as them normal. Like, I always fight with the transformation. That and the like above water area is just a really you can see it in the picture. It's just a really quaint like seaside town where you like go and pay for a room at the hotel or blow the door off the room if you prefer not to pay. You can, well, you can't rent a jet ski, but you can basically rent a jet ski. It's kind of thematically a jet ski where you get to rent the running shoes and they allow you to run on the water. It's just a really nice, like, feel-good level. Then, moving on from there, Angry Aztec, which, similar to Gobi's Valley, is a lot of yellow. And I think you can kind of have the same complaints about Angry Aztec as you would with Gobi's Valley, I'm kind of noticing, but similar to Click Clock Wood, it kind of gets recontextualized by the game that it's in, and with Donkey Kong, Angry Aztec just feels much better to play than Gobi's Valley. Angry Aztec is a level that does a really nice job keeping all of the, like, Kong requirements pretty streamlined. Like, everything is pretty clumped together, so it's really easy to swap back and forth and do all the different tasks. I admittedly, like, have not played Donkey Kong 64 vanilla in a very long time. I've in recent memory really only played it with Tag Anywhere, so I can't really speak too well on access to tag barrels in all of those areas, but all of the objectives are very well streamlined in Angry Aztec. And as a kid, Angry Aztec was always my favorite level in DK64. I always quit after Angry Aztec. Moving on from there, well, I'll say this later, there's no spoilers. But moving on from there is the first level of Banjo Kazooie. Top of B tier is like the highest that I believe this level can go. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just a very basic first level tutorial level where you learn your basic moves, you learn the Talon Trot, you learn how to shoot eggs, you learn how to ground pound. There's nothing crazy in this level. It's a level that can easily be beaten in under 10 minutes, 100%. But it's iconic. Just a very solid intro level that's only held back because it's not a very interesting level at all. Then, moving on from there, last B tier level is the first level of Donkey Kong 64 or Jungle Japes, which I think does the first level thing just a little bit better. It is still a tutorial level, but I feel like it has a little bit more going on, and it helps that when you go to the level the first time, you only have Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, so it's really the tutorial for them. For the other monkeys, there's a little bit more to do if you backtrack and come back for their stuff. But, like, Diddy has a whole minecart minigame, so there is that. But it's just a very streamlined, very fun level to play because everything goes really fast. And there's Rambi. Even if I don't really understand the point of Rambi because Rambi's in the game for literally, like, 1 minute and that's it. But Rambi's here. Next, the first A tier level, which I was going to say this before, but I didn't want to spoil it. I unintentionally, like completely unintentionally, put all of the first levels next to each other. Mayhem Temple, which is just a step above the other two first levels. Mayhem Temple does not baby you with the tutorial level nonsense. Like, this is a pretty intensive level for it being the first level of the game. Like, there's a lot of really easy jiggies that are just, like, in plain sight here. There's the kickball tournament, which is really easy. There's a lot of jiggies just out in the open, like the one where you have to shoot the mosquitoes. But there's a lot here. Like, there's Jiggies that you actually have to come back for already. Like at this stage of the game, there's Jiggies that you have to come back and backtrack for once you have the correct moves. And it's a very widespread level with a lot to it as well compared to the other first levels. And there's a whole first person dungeon in here to introduce you to that mechanic, including the boss, which is in first person. And I actually quite like the boss, but I like the boss, like pretty much every boss in Banjo Tooie is quality. Next up, a bit of a hot take, but I'm not a huge Treasure Trove Cove fan. I do like it because it's a water level that's not really a water level. You don't have to swim a ton in this level. And it has the iconic shark that freaks out every kid that plays this game. But it's a pirate themed level, which is really cool. You get to collect treasure for blubber. It's just like, I don't know, it feels like a level to me where the objectives are spaced out a little bit too much for my taste. And I don't like love actually playing the level. Like I do really like it thematically and I do think it is fun. Like obviously it's A tier, but I'm kind of justifying just why it's not like in my top 3 because I feel like that's more typical of Treasure Trove Cove. But there's stuff about the level that I don't love. I don't love the like hunting down the X's mission. I think that one's a little bit lame. But this is the first level where you get flight, which is nice. Flight is like a brilliant move. Shock spring pads are kind of lackluster, but yeah, it's a very fun level to play, very thematic. Next is a level that I hated as a kid. I thought it was really boring, but I think it is one of the best designed levels in Banjo Kazooie, and that is Bubble Gloop Swamp. It's just the objectives in this one are so focused. This one, like, in terms of, like, level design, might be one of the best 3D platformer levels of all time. Just because it's so streamlined where you need to go and in what order and how you can do things. It helps that Croctus kind of guides you. There's a crocodile. Well, I guess there's a bunch of different crocodiles, isn't it? That you shoot an egg into him, and then a different one appears elsewhere. You kind of follow the Croctuses in order to get through the different objectives. But I just think, like, it's a very focused level. Like, it's, like, the perfect size. There's no, like, unnecessary space. And it's really easy to navigate the level and understand what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's just really solid. And there's a giant turtle. Mr. Vile is whatever. You can come back like like 2 levels later in the game when you get the running shoes to make Mr. Vile like trivial. But if you know how to like mess with his AI a little bit, you can beat it pretty easily without the running shoes. Next is going to be the last A tier level. Everything else... I kind of forgot this was here. Cauldron Keep, I don't have much to say. I kind of didn't notice that it was here until now. It just goes in D tier. It's a last level. There's not much to do there. It's got a quiz show, and that's it. Anyways, on to the main production. The last level of A tier. I didn't want people, like, sitting here thinking, like, you still got Cauldron Keep here. That's not S tier, is it? But the final A tier level is Creepy Castle. This is probably the best designed level in... Oh, I just realized, I think this is Hideout Helm. We're gonna put that, like, here as well. I don't have anything to say about that. But, Creepy Castle, I think might be one of the best, might be, like, the best designed level in DK64. I just prefer the one left a little bit more. But Creepy Castle actually tries its hand at being more linear than any of the other levels in DK64, and I think it really works. Like, going up the tower is entirely linear. There's a couple objectives for different Kongs here and there, like the ballroom with Diddy Kong, the library with Donkey Kong. I think it's the museum with Chunky Kong. I might be wrong. I think there might be one for each Kong, actually. And then there's different things to do on the inside as well. Like there's the dungeon area and there's the mausoleum, and um, it's just a very, like, again, streamlined level to play, which is what we're trying to go for with DK64, because it can get a little convoluted at times when you have to switch all the time, and it can make the level really slow. Um, but yeah, that's Creepy Castle. Going up in S tier now. We only have a few levels remaining. Only 5. It's going to be Mad Monster Mansion first. I love Mad Monster Mansion. I think it is so well designed aesthetically. You have the giant church. You have the creepy mansion itself, where I was scared to go in there as a kid because I was afraid of Napper. Um, and the transformation. The transformation is brilliant. Like, you're in a, like, haunted area, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to turn into? Am I going to turn into, like, a bat and be able to fly? Am I going to turn into a ghost? Am I going to turn into some, like, crazy monster? And boom, you're a pumpkin. And the pumpkin actually has, like, some of the most uses for any transformation in the game. You get to go down a toilet. You get to go down a gutter. You get to go in a well and jump in the bucket to get the jiggy. And you actually need it outside of the level as well. Really, really solid level. Really fun to play. With a lot of different, like, rooms as well. Like, a lot of different windows you can break and a lot of areas you can go in. Next. Frantic Factory. Frantic Factory is so fun to play. I actually really like it. Climbing Production Room can be a nightmare sometimes, but all of the objectives in this game or in this level, are fun. And yes, that even includes DK Arcade, because I love me some original Donkey Kong. I think it's so funny that they put that there. And the boss of this level is, like, the only good boss in the entire... I haven't been talking about the DK64 bosses for a reason, because they all kind of blow. The boss of this level is actually really good. I really like Mad Jack. Okay, we're getting down there. Next, Freezy Z Peak. Christmas is my favorite time of the year in real life. Being able to play, like, not just an ice world, but a Christmas-themed world, it just feels really wholesome to me. Gathering gifts for the polar bear family, flying around and destroying the snowmen by hitting the X on their hats. Very satisfying feeling when you get it down. It kind of has a pointless feeling transformation. Like, I think the walrus feels pretty meh in terms of transformations, but it's okay because the level is super fun. You get to go through a little, like, snow village as well. Like, the thing that your, like, mom and grandma have, like the Christmas villages. You get to walk through one of those, basically. It's just a very nice looking level, and it's got, like, really good vibes. You get to light up a Christmas tree. It's really nice. Witchy World is next, which everyone's going to freak out when they look at this, but Witchy World is really fun. It's a theme park themed level, which is spectacular because it allows a lot of creativity, because you have all these different biomes you can go in. Although they kind of use the space zone twice a little bit, because they have Area 51 and the space zone separately. But that's okay. You have, like, the western area where you get to do one of the, like, I can't think of what it's called, like the power tower. It's not a power tower. Like, the thing where you would hit a thing with a hammer. You have to do one of those on the cactus to get a jiggy to pop up. There's also a lot of mini games in this level, but I think they're all really fun. I really like doing the dodgems, even if it's really easy, which is basically like bumper cars, and you're trying to collect these little lights while the villains are chasing you on bumper cars. Um, I really like the Saucer of Peril as well, like getting to fly around the level on a track where you're shooting different targets. I really enjoy the Saucer of Peril. The boss, Mr. Patch, I don't love playing it, but it is like it's just a giant inflatable dinosaur that you're fighting, and you shoot his patches to make him blow up, and it's fun. I really like Witchy World. Then number one, my favorite level in all of the 3D platformers is Glitter Gulch Mine, which might be a slight hot take because I think a lot of people might think this level is mid, but I think it's by far the best designed level in Banjo Tooie. Does it have some lows? Yes, the transformation really sucks. But I think it's aesthetically a really fun level. It's like a Western, well, not Western, it's like a prospector themed level where you have all these different gem towers that you're climbing up. There's a minecart track that goes through the entire level. It's where you get the train, which, but point being, you get to go through all these different like mine shaft areas, and I really enjoy the aesthetic of Glitter Gulch Mine, and the music like tops it all off. Like the music really sets the tone for this one, kind of similar to how Freezy Peaks music really sets the tone for that level. But there you have it. There's my list of my favorite and least favorite levels in the 3D platformer Rareware series. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.